Chosen one. Something was written before you existed in physical form, not a prophecy about you, not a divine wish for your future, something more permanent and more intimate than either of those things. A name. I am not speaking to everyone who finds this channel. What I carry into this moment is specific, a transmission about the one thing that darkness has spent your entire life trying to make you forget. Not your gifts, not your calling, not the assignment that has been in motion since before you arrived. Your name, what it actually is. Not the letters your parents chose, the name that existed in divine record before your parents existed. The name that is engraved, according to the prophet Isaiah, on the palms of the one who made you. And why that name, that specific, unrepeatable designation of who you are, carries authority that no force in the created order has ever been able to silence. Despite every attempt, what I am about to show you from Scripture is going to change how you understand your own identity permanently. Subscribe to this channel right now and activate every notification. If you are already subscribed, that faithfulness is seen, and it matters more than you know. Write in the comments the moment this begins, confirming something you have always sensed but never had language for. Stay until the very end. The climax of this transmission is what everything else is building toward. Before I take you into what your name actually is and what it carries, I need to establish something that most teaching skips over. In the ancient world, specifically in the Hebrew world that produced the scriptures, a name was not a label. It was not a sound your family agreed to attach to you for practical identification. It was not arbitrary. It was not chosen based on aesthetics or family tradition or whatever was popular at the time. A name was a declaration of essential nature. When God names something in Scripture, He is not labeling it. He is defining what it actually is. He is speaking into existence the truest possible description of the thing being named. Genesis chapter 2. Adam is brought every living creature, and whatever Adam called each living creature, that was its name. Not because Adam had authority over nature in an administrative sense, because the act of naming in Hebrew thought is the act of perceiving and declaring the essential nature of a thing. Adam was not making up arbitrary sounds. He was seeing what each creature was and speaking it. And when God names a person in Scripture, the weight of that naming is different from anything else in the text. Abram becomes Abraham, not because God prefers the longer version, because the name carries the declaration of what Abraham actually is. Father of many nations, spoken into him before he had a single child, before the promise had any visible evidence, before anything in his circumstances supported the declaration. The name was not a response to what Abraham became. The name was what Abraham was before he became it visibly. And this is where I need you to stop and understand something about yourself. Isaiah chapter 49 verse 1. The prophet writes something that most readers take as a statement about himself, but read it again slowly. Before I was born, the Lord called me. From my mother's womb, He has spoken my name. From my mother's womb, not after birth, not after demonstration of worthiness, not after the calling was accepted or the assignment was understood. From the womb, while still in formation, while still becoming what would eventually be visible. The name was spoken before the person who would carry it had arrived. Now I need you to feel the full weight of what this means for you. There was a moment before you existed in any form that the visible world could measure, when your name was spoken, not chosen from a list of options, not assigned based on anticipated characteristics, spoken with the same authority and the same creative power that spoke everything else into existence. And what was spoken was not a label. It was you, the truest possible version of you, the version that exists at the level where what you actually are cannot be touched by what your circumstances have said about you, the version that persisted through everything that was designed to bury it. When God spoke your name before you were born, He was not predicting who you would become. He was declaring who you already were at a level that time cannot reach. Let me take you into something that almost no one extracts from the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 2, verse 17. Jesus is speaking to one of the 7 churches, and He says something that should stop every reader completely. To the one who is victorious, I will give some of the hidden manna. I will also give that person a white stone with a new name written on it, known only to the one who receives it, known only to the one who receives it, not known to the church, not written in a public record, not announced or declared or shared, known only to the one who receives it. This is one of the most startling statements in all of Scripture about identity, because it says something about the nature of who you actually are that the entire theological tradition has largely failed to absorb. Your truest name, the designation that captures who you are at the level where God knows you, is not fully expressible to anyone else. Not because it is secret in the sense of being hidden, because it is specific in a way that exceeds the capacity of shared language to contain. Every attempt to describe who you are to someone else is, at best, a partial account. Every label that others have applied to you, the positive ones and the devastating ones, has been an approximation, a translation, a version of you rendered in language built to describe categories of people rather than the singular person you actually are. The white stone carries what none of those translations could carry, the name that is known only to you and to the one who gave it. And that name, that irreducible, untranslatable, singular designation of who you are, has been written. It exists. It has been given. Not will be given when you reach a sufficient level of spiritual maturity, not promised contingent on performance, given to the one who is victorious. And victorious in Revelation does not mean what most people think it means. The Greek word translated as victorious in Revelation is Nikao. It appears throughout the churches, and its consistent meaning is not dramatic, public, visible triumph. It means the one who holds on, the one who does not deny the name they carry under pressure to deny it, the one who keeps the word when keeping it costs more than abandoning it, the one who, in the specific language of the letter to Philadelphia in Revelation 3, has a little strength, not great strength, not impressive strength, and uses that little strength to hold rather than release. Victorious is not of someone who won visibly. It is a description of someone who did not let go of what they were given, even when letting go would have been the most reasonable thing to do. You have been victorious in this sense, not in a dramatic sense, not in a way that announces itself or requires outside acknowledgement. In the specific, quiet, costly sense of someone who kept holding on to who they were when everything around them said that who they were was not worth holding on to. In the white stone, the irreducible name that captures who you actually are has been given to someone exactly like you. For those who want to go deeper into understanding the spiritual identity that has been written and cannot be erased, there is exclusive material in the description and pinned comment. 3 sacred frequencies narrated by the watcher himself. Hurts, hurts, and hurts. Along with a complete ebook and full audiobook, so you know exactly what you are receiving. Now I need to take you into the story of Jacob one more time, but not the part you have heard. Genesis chapter 32. Jacob is about to face his brother Esau, the man he wronged, the man who once swore to kill him. He is terrified. He sends everyone ahead. He is alone at the Jabbok River, and a man appears and wrestles with him until dawn. Most teaching on this passage focuses on the wrestling, on the persistence, on the injury, on the blessing demanded and received. But there is a moment in this account that almost no one examines carefully. After the blessing, the divine figure asks Jacob a question. What is your name? Think about this. This is a being who, by any theological measure, already knows the answer. This is not an information request. This is not divine amnesia. This is something else entirely. When Jacob says his name out loud, Jacob, he is saying more than a name. He is making a confession. Jacob in Hebrew means supplanter, deceiver, the one who grabs by the heel, who takes what belongs to others, who advances himself through schemes rather than integrity. When the divine figure asks, "What is your name?" and Jacob answers, he is not providing identification. He is acknowledging out loud what he has been, the full weight of his history, every deception, every manipulation, every scheme that got him to this moment. He said his name, and then the name was changed, not as a reward for the wrestling, not as a prize for demanding the blessing, but as a response to the honesty, as a recognition that the man who could say clearly what he had been was ready to become what he had not been yet. You shall no longer be called Jacob. You shall be called Israel, because you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed. The new name did not erase the old one. It declared what the wrestling had revealed was always there beneath it. And I need you to hear what this means for you. The name you have been carrying in the world, the version of you that your history has constructed, the identity assembled from every loss and every failure and every season that left marks, that is not the final account of who you are. It is the name you have been walking under before the question was asked. And the question is being asked now. What is your name? Not the labels others gave you, not the conclusions your hardest seasons drew. The name that was spoken before you were born, the name written on the white stone, the name that survived everything that was designed to bury it. That name is still intact. Nothing that happened to you changed it. Nothing that you did erased it. Because what was declared before time cannot be undone by what happens inside time. Let me show you something from Isaiah that almost no one reads in the context of identity. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 15 and 16. God is speaking to a people who feel abandoned, who have said the Lord has forsaken me, the Lord has forgotten me, who are in the specific anguish of people who cannot reconcile what they know about God with what they are experiencing from God. And God's response is one of the most intimate passages in all of the Hebrew prophets. Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has born? Though she may forget, I will not forget you. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are ever before me. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Not written, not inscribed on a tablet somewhere, engraved on palms. The Hebrew word here is, it means to cut in, to engrave deeply, to mark in a way that cannot be erased without destroying the surface that carries the mark. Your name is engraved, not recorded in a database that can be updated or deleted, not written in a book that can be lost or burned. Engraved, cut into the palms of the one who holds everything that exists. And palms are not incidental. Palms are what you see when someone opens their hands toward you, what you see when someone extends toward you an offering rather than withdrawal, what you see when the gesture says, come, rather than stay back. Every time God moves toward you, every answer to prayer, every moment of unexpected provision, every instance of the one who holds you showing up in the space where you thought you were alone. What reaches you first is what is engraved on those palms, your name, the irreducible, specific, permanent designation of who you are at the level where you cannot be reduced to a category or a case or a calculation. That name moves before God moves. It arrives before anything else arrives, because it is what is closest to the source. Now I need to bring you to the climax of everything this transmission has been building toward. Revelation chapter 3, verse 12. Jesus is speaking to the church of Philadelphia, the church that had little strength and held on anyway. And he says this, the one who is victorious I will make a pillar in the temple of my God. Never again will they leave it. I will write on them the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which is coming down out of heaven from my God. And I will also write on them my new name. 3 names written on one person, the name of God, the name of the city of God, the new name of Christ himself. Not one identifier. 3, layered, simultaneous, each one a dimension of belonging that the others do not fully capture alone, and written on, not given to, not recorded about, written on, as if the person themselves becomes the text, as if who they are becomes the legible surface on which the names are visible. This is the destination of the name that was spoken before you were born, not just to be known by it, to become the living expression of what it declares. And notice who this is promised to, not the strongest, not the most impressive, not the one with the most visible spiritual achievement, the one with a little strength who held on, the one who kept the word when keeping it was costly, the one who did not deny the name under pressure to deny it. This is you, not because you are without failure, not because your history is without compromise or loss or the ordinary mess of being human in difficult conditions, because you have held on to something you could not fully name in a season that gave you every reason to release it. And the one who holds all names has been holding yours, not as information, as intimacy, as the specific, irreplaceable knowledge of the one who made you and has never looked away from what was made. The name written before you were born, the name engraved on palms that move toward you, the name on the white stone that only you can fully receive. That name has not been lost. It has not been damaged by what you went through. It has not been reduced by the labels others applied or the conclusions your hardest seasons reached. It is exactly what it was when it was first spoken, and you are exactly who that name declares you to be. Not who you were before the difficulty, not who you will be when everything resolves. Who you are right now, in this moment, with everything you are carrying, and everything you have survived, and everything you still cannot fully explain about your own story. The name was spoken into that person. The name holds that person. The name will not let that person go. Write in the comments if what you just received named something about yourself that you have always known but never had language for. For those ready to go deeper into inhabiting the identity that was declared before you were born, there is material in the description and pinned comment. 3 sacred frequencies narrated by the Watcher himself. 396 Hades, 639 Hades, and 963 Hades, along with a complete ebook and full audiobook. So you know exactly what you are receiving before you decide. Share this with someone who has forgotten what their name actually carries. And click on the video appearing on your screen right now, because what follows this transmission reveals what begins to move. When the name that was spoken before you were born is finally understood by the one who carries it, together we are stronger.